Well, hello Dirtfish Rally friends. It is the end of Friday here at the Monte Carlo Rally. 9 stages down in total, and there has been plenty of drama out there today. But the rally kicked off yesterday evening and they headed up to 3 stages. And what did we see in those 3 stages? Well, much like last year, we saw a tremendous atmosphere. The fireworks, the fans, the noise, the colour was quite spectacular. But Sébastien Ogier was the man who seemed to be on things quicker than anyone. But a small mistake from him in stage 3 was rather costly yesterday evening. Another man who made a costly mistake out there was Oliver Solberg. Don't forget, he is in the Rally 2 class, but he's not down to score points here this weekend. But that led us on, David Evans and Luke Barry. Let's talk a little bit about Ogier. We knew he would come back, but did we expect him to be leading at the end of the day with the work that he had to do?
I'd love to say no, but it's Ogier and it's the Monte Carlo Rally. So I think realistically, yes. Particularly given this weekend, we have seen already, maybe not as much of the changeable conditions as we'd like to see, but it's still been some, particularly the middle stage that didn't run this morning was quite icy. So that's where I think Ogier's always tended to make a difference, is managing the risks, knowing how much to push. And yeah, it's been typically impressive, it has to be said. The fact that I'm saying that is expected is a credit to the man, because on any other weekend, any other driver, possibly not, but he's Sébastien Ogier.
He really is, and David, he wasn't trouble-free today. He did have that small...
Yeah, went off a little bit.
What would we call it? An off? I don't know what we would call it.
Yeah, but, he's experienced enough to take these things in his stride. And like Luke said, he has that ability to understand the conditions, how they'll evolve, what it'll mean for the grip levels and everything. Yeah, he's driven a great day. Other people have perhaps helped him a little bit.
We'll come on to those. We'll come on to those shortly.
But yeah, no, he's done kind of what you'd expect him to do. It was nice. He talked a little bit about the fact that yesterday it shaken down. Yeah, it was muddy. It was wet. It wasn't really Monte, and that's not great for Ogier. He absolutely thrives in these conditions. The best part probably of the day for him was him winning his home stage.
Yes, he's never won it before, he said, didn't he?
No,
he's never won it.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, were those conditions today the kind of conditions that suit Sébastien Ogier, those changeable conditions where you had to pick your moment, you had to be extremely cautious and patient at times? Is that what Ogier would have wanted today?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was not easy. I'm not 100% happy with my day and 100% satisfied. There was some struggling for me this morning, finding the limit on this changing condition. I was a little bit on the back foot, not driving enough on the limit, but it's so easy to do mistakes in this condition that I think I can still be satisfied to turn a 13-second deficit on 12 lead.
Talk us through that moment you had this morning.
Frosty braking place on a stage which was mainly dry, but still some places surprised me. And actually, I had the information in the notes, but there was so much, between the gravel crew drive and our drive, there is always 2 hours and a lot of evolution, and most of it was gone, but this one actually was still there. Had a little kiss with a soft bank again, so we have to try to avoid that.
The man in second place, Luke, is Elfyn Evans, 12 and a bit seconds behind Sébastien Ogier. I think it's been a really decent day for Elfyn Evans out there. We have seen this before on the Monte, where he's excelled on day 1, day 2.
No, you're right. He's kind of just got through the day and done his own thing. He was leading when we were here earlier on this morning at lunchtime, but as we said, the Ogier comeback has kind of been a bit too strong for him. But as you say, there's always little bits and stuff, and Elfyn in particular is a perfectionist. He'll tell you there's been things that haven't been quite right with his day, but he's in a very good position. Yes, it's 12 seconds, but in Monte Carlo, that is nothing.
One of the big things that we look at going into this year is no hybrid. Lighter cars back to 1180 kilos. These cars are more similar to the cars that he really thrived in, the 17 car. It's not the same, and if you want to hear Elfyn's views, go back to our Dirtfish YouTube channel, look in the live section, and you can have 3 hours of incredible insight. And the 3 of us talking as well.
Yeah, not all that's incredible insight to be
and Elfyn Elfyn talked a lot about how the kind of expectation is, no hybrid, I'll be back to that speed. It's the same chassis as last year, and we've seen that here. These are exactly the same rally cars, because they've just got some blanking plates on where the cooling's gone, and they've just whipped the hybrid gubbins out and carried on. But yeah, good. Really good for Elfyn.
Really strong day from Elfyn Evans.
Yeah, it's been tough. Obviously, very difficult morning. Conditions evolving a lot. Afternoon is a bit more stable, I would say. Not easy, of course, but yeah, generally things working pretty well. Of course, dreaded spin on the ice, or half spin, and obviously had to reverse. So that's cost us a bit, but you know, we're still in the mix and we'll keep going.
Perhaps my man of the day is the man sitting in third place. Elfyn Evans, 12.8 seconds off the lead. Adrien Fourmaux, just over 14 seconds off the lead. Look, you called this one. I was a little sceptical as to what he could do in that car, particularly first time out, particularly with the difficult conditions of the Monte, the new tyres, all the rest. You called it. He has been really super impressive today.
He has. And it's interesting because we've all seen the progression Fourmaux's made in the last 12 months in that season, coming back to Rally 1. But it's another big challenge for him, moving to a different team, different car, different engineers. Everything is new. And yes, he's had a good bit of seat time in the car. He's driven a rally in this region just at the end of December, and that's helped with that adaptation, rather. But it's been seriously impressive to see on that last stage of the week in particular. The commitment was unreal. The trust in that car, which he doesn't know that well still, was amazing. And he wasn't far off Ogier.
And the thing is, he is, at the end of the day, the leading Hyundai. Who'd have put money on that?
Yeah, I'm really happy with our pace today. Really positive to be third, still not so far from the first position. But there was still a long rally tomorrow and Sunday. I'm happy we didn't have any drama today, etc. But it needs to continue for tomorrow.
We saw in that last stage in particular how hard you were pushing. It looked very on the limit. You look so comfortable in this car already.
Yeah, I feel comfortable in the car, and this is why I'm also able to push. But sometimes also it's a really demanding stage, you know, with a lot of compression jumps, etc. So it can be quite impressive from the inboard.
So behind our top three then, in fourth place, it is Kalle Rovanperä. Rovanperä has been a little bit obscure today. We've not really watched these times. He's got better. Last night was a little bit perplexing. Wasn't quite sure what was going on.
Interesting one, you know, Kalle absolutely is along the Tänak lines. He's not a fan of this event. We saw that last night. I think he himself was a little bit shell-shocked, wasn't he, this morning when it was like, or last night. 44 seconds is a lot, but Ogier had said it though, you know, you tend to get these big gaps. We saw it with the first stage this morning when Thierry dropped something like 15 because he was just quite cautious first on the road. Kalle, it was a bit of a nightmare night for him last night. Didn't find the feeling in the car. One of the big issues that he's had, Col, is the fact that he hasn't tested the tarmac tyre. He had full snow in his test, so anything other than full snow, he hasn't really done any running on. And he wasn't feeling the car on tarmac tyres at all.
But a very big well done to Hankook. You know, it's their first proper day, or 9 stages in the World Rally Championship. And do you know what? A measure of how successful they've been is how, well, if it had been a noisy day for Hankook, a lot of people talking about it, that would have been concerning. It's been a remarkably quiet day. So well done to Hankook. It's been a very positive start to their tenure of the tyre supply in the World Rally Championship. In 5th place, well, it's the man who's had a few issues out there today. It's Tänak. I tell you what, he was lucky. That was a big impact earlier on. The car looked badly damaged, but it was running straight. But it was a big impact. It was that. That telegraph. You asked that telegraph pole. Bang!
But I think the thing with Tänak is, Cole, he's not confident.
Not at all.
On Monte Carlo, is he?
And that's odd. Compare that with Fourmaux. Compare that with Fourmaux, who's really loved his rallying today.
Well, hang on a sec. Let's stop a second. Let's think, where was Fourmaux born and brought up? Down in France. Not this part of France, but in France. Bit more on tarmac. Where was Tänak brought up?
I'm not having that. I'm genuinely not having that. You know,
that's a bit of a stretch.
Tänak, we know in the past has been the best of the best on tarmac. We've seen
not Monte
here.
Carlo.
Not
That's
here.
the point. You've answered your own question. I think the Monte is in his head now. I
agree with that. I totally agree with that.
I think it is, because we said to him in our live stream, go back and watch it, yesterday, that it's the first time that he's coming here with a bit of knowledge of the car, and not the first time, but the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Understanding the car completely, was in it last year. Okay, it's a different car with no hybrid, blah, blah, blah. But same team and all of that, and we kind of thought maybe a podium would be a chance here, but he just hasn't really engaged with this event in a way that we kind of would have expected. Then the trouble is, I do think that, you know, when you have a bit of a moment, a bit of an incident early doors here, it's difficult to make the time back. 'Cause it's not, it's quite a fast rally anyway. But also, it saps your confidence.
Let's talk a little bit about the third Hyundai then, Thierry Neuville. Talk us through what happened there.
Yeah, a really strange one actually on a tight hairpin right on the final stage. I was remember what it was. Final stage of the morning loop. He's essentially, I think, not quite used to the tyres. Said he wasn't getting the braking performance he expected. And he's just gone off. He's pulled the handbrake to try and get the car around, but that's then smacked the left rear wheel. And if you want to see what that really did, check the video. The link's up. Which side Elliott? That side, if you go inside the screen one. And we've seen Colin and Elliott following him down the road section, as you can see. The team did a great job to get that fixed in time, but this afternoon, he's done the same thing again.
Done the same thing again. And I don't get his excuse. I don't get that, David. I don't.
But I think you've got to look at the road.
Whoa.
Super steep downhill.
Let's explain what happened. So he's done exactly the same thing.
Not exactly. He went off on the inside this time.
He's made a mistake on exactly the same corner.
That's
He went off the same way, but he went in this time straight through rather than trying to pull it round at the last minute. He went through the gap. The second time round, he said at the end of the stage, I picked up a puncture. I had a puncture. Well, what do you do if you know you've got a front left puncture?
Down.
What do you do? Going into a hairpin, tricky.
Place.
You slow down. I'm not buying that.
I made a mistake. I misjudged the grip with the new tires on the right tarmac. Yeah, obviously very lucky to get away with it and bring back the car. Yeah, and what we didn't know that it was the recce run for the afternoon loop, obviously. Punctured like 3 Ks into the stage, hesitating a lot to change, not to change. And at the end we decided to carry on, but suddenly the tire went, and at the same place as this morning we went straight. We lost 20 seconds, but overall, we basically 2 minutes and 2 minutes. It's 4 minutes lost on one single day. It's a lot to catch back.
Look, it's been a disastrous day for him. A disastrous day. Nothing short of a catastrophe for Thierry Neuville.
Typically big words, isn't it, from Colin?
David, I'm not amused.
I'm not sure it's a catastrophe though. He's still here.
Yeah, but he's near 4 minutes back.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter now.
He's looking to Sunday.
Essentially, exactly. After this morning, I'm not saying this afternoon should happen, but after this morning, his rally's always become about Sunday from here, isn't it? He'll probably get 7th, 8th, or 9th position in the top 10, but as we said, we saw him here last year. He built his title challenge on that brilliant performance, and it's the exact opposite situation here this weekend. So I think that's what's going to be interesting if you look further ahead into the season.
Josh McAlin, Davey, if you want to chuck someone at the deep end, this isn't the 2 metre deep end of the swimming pool. It's the 4 metre deep end of the diving board, the top diving board. It is as deep can be for McAlin. And you know what? Let's not even bother talking about his times. He's got through the stages. That's the important thing.
His times are irrelevant, Cole.
Totally.
We've talked about this ad nauseum, haven't we? That the times, it doesn't matter. It's about gaining the experience. It's about experiencing the conditions. It's about driving the tyre on the wrong conditions, all of that.
Well, what about Josh's teammate, Gregoire Munster? A fabulous morning for Gregoire Munster. He went, would you believe, with that crossover on the tyre choice this morning. The only driver to do that, and he was quick through this morning's loop of stages. Sadly, it seems to have gone wrong for him on the afternoon's loop of stages. Didn't make it back to the service. He retired on the road section. We're hearing potentially an electrical problem for Gregoire Munster. A disappointing end to what was a very, very promising day for the young driver from Luxembourg. Drivers we haven't talked about. Sammy Pyrie.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Pyrie surprised me, and it probably shouldn't.
Because you wanted more from him?
Well, this is the thing, I don't think I should have done. But in my head, because he's done so well on his 3 rallies last year, I think you start to forget how inexperienced he still is in this car. But considering everything, considering the programme he's got, it's the Monte, you don't want to make a fool of yourself on those stages.
Very briefly, WRC2, good days for Nicolas Grasjean and Johan Rossell out there. Really good day for young Solberg. He showed us what he is capable of. But again, don't forget, the only one of those 3 who are scoring points in WRC2 is Johan Rossell. So Rossell doesn't really care what Grasjean, Greensmith, Solberg does. Who was your driver of the day, folks? We love to hear from you. We love to hear your comments. We love to see your questions. But let us know in the comments below, who was your driver of the day? Well, listen, folks, if you are watching these guys in the stages and marvelling at their ability to control the cars on snow and ice, on loose gravel, on tarmac, whatever, don't forget that, it might be a little tricky for you and I, but you can learn. You can learn all about how to handle a car properly at Dirtfish, because that is what we do best, because we are the world's best rally school. We're back tomorrow, 6 more stages, plenty more to come tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.